and welcome to Unique Not Different with me, Shaka. And today I have the pleasure of having Mr. Ian Rich, Chairman of the Equal Opportunity Commission, to speak on disability and justice and the success in terms of going about, lodging complaints, etc. So good morning, Mr. Rich. How are you doing?
Good morning, Shamla. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. It's a pleasure being here.
It's a pleasure having you. So let's get straight into it. In terms of the Equal Opportunity Commission, so can you briefly explain what is the role in terms of disability in justice, gaining justice through the Equal Opportunity Commission?
Okay, well, the Equal Opportunity Commission is a somewhat independent organization. It's a non-for-profit organization. It's a state created body, and specifically with a mandate to deal with the elimination of discrimination and the promotion of equality of opportunities for members of society. And unlike the Constitution, which protects the equality rights and freedom of persons between the state and the individual, the Equal Opportunity Commission protects certain categories of discrimination and equality of treatment between the public generally. So it's not just the state, but also private enterprise. And in terms of discrimination, there are 4 categories of discrimination which is protected under the Equal Opportunity Commission, which is the employment, education, the provision of goods and services, and the provision of accommodation on 7 status grounds, right? The 7 status grounds would be sex, race, ethnicity, origin, religion, marital status, and disability. Now, in terms of disability, there's no specific legislation that deals with disability in Trinidad and Tobago. There are a number of pieces of legislation that covers it, overlaps in some instances, right? But in terms of disability, our Act defines disability, I think in Section 3 of the definition, as being total or partial loss of a body function, total or partial loss of a part of the body, malfunction of a part of the body, including a mental or psychological disease or disorder, or malformation or disfigurement of part of the body, right? Now, that is somewhat sort of limited when you look at the definition of disability in other more progressive societies or more advanced societies. We are dealing with disabilities like the United Kingdom, the UN. We have proposed amendments to the Equal Opportunities Act so as to include and cover a larger definition of disability, because disability may mean different things. It may be a medical disability, and then you have disability, maybe social and psychological disability. So we are hoping that we'll have a more expansive definition to incorporate much more instances of disability, generally speaking. So,
right.
So,
like explaining this, right? You guys have a process that you have to go through in terms of
yes.
Complete investigation and conciliation. But
yes.
So in terms of disability in particular, maybe in general, in terms of approach, so suppose I approach you recently, in terms of approach, how many do you get a lot of approaches to work with persons with disability in terms of under those grounds, and what are the, in terms of persons coming forward as opposed to persons getting justice? What is the gap in terms of percentage or numbers?
Well, I can't give you the numbers offhand, because we are still doing. We are now to do a new strat plan, which will include, a survey to bring it up to date from the one that was done, I think, in 2017 by the former board. But what I can tell you in terms of discrimination, in terms of disability, it has not been as prevalent as disability as other areas of discrimination in the country. But as I'm saying, we need to get a more updated figure on what exactly is the percentage of persons with disability generally, as we cater for under the EOA.
Do you think that one of the reasons why persons with disability, because in general, persons with disability are discriminated in terms of education, employment, etc., is prevalent, right? But do you think that you're not being approached because of the gap between legislation and the laws that govern discrimination, because yes, it is ratified, but it is not legislated. Is there any gap in those in both?
Yeah, well, I would say one of the reasons why we have not had a proliferation of persons with disabilities per se coming before the EOC for redress is because, one, there's a high level of unawareness. People are not aware, right? So people need to be educated as to their rights and what exactly may amount to discrimination on the basis of disability, what their disabilities and so, right? In addition to that, a lot of persons who are disabled are not even given the opportunity of employment. So they even before they start, they believe that if they have a disability, they wouldn't stand a chance of being employed. So there will be a hesitation of going forward to making, an application to get employment. And if they are ignorant of the fact that if they are discriminated at any process in the employment process, that they can have a claim, they can make a complaint before the commission, they may be unaware of that. So that may in itself may lead to the gap between persons coming for redress before the EOC. And one of the shortcomings, well, I wouldn't say shortcomings, one of the limitations of the EOC is that the EOC cannot go off on its own to investigate. The complaint must be made. You must file a complaint to trigger our mechanism, the process in dealing and trying to find a redress the issue that may have the complaint of.
So in terms of coming forward, right? Can you guys quickly tell me in terms of that person with disability, because person with disability can learn from this. What is the threshold that to come forward to say, okay, the Equal Opportunity Commission can help me at this point? What is the threshold? And what are some, based on the processes, what is the turnaround time from the time you lodge a complaint to conciliation?
Okay, well, first of all, the complaint is lodged. Either you can go online and lodge a complaint, right, or you can come in person. Well, because of the COVID, we are not receiving any physical complaint, but you can go online and go up on the website, and there's a complaint form you fill out, right? Once that is filled out, it goes to an officer who will investigate the complaint, and based on, probably will contact you who have the complainant for further information if necessary, and then they will reach out. The process will start where they will reach out to the person being the complaint is made against. And based on a series of investigation and consultations between the parties, this has been done by writing, formally, exchanges. Sometimes attorneys get involved for parties. And then based on what is the outcome, this process may take a while because you're writing given certain times. Persons can ask for an extension of time, even though they are stipulated to be done as soon as possible. So that can have the process drawn out, unnecessarily so drawn out because of, again, is a quasi sort of legal thing, and you may ask for time for good reason, and that time will be provided. However, once that is done, it goes in train, and then the persons may reach a stage where, if the complaint is a legitimate one, it may go to conciliation, and then the conciliation section and unit of the EOC gets involved, and they will try to conciliate the matter to a resolution. If there's a failure to have a successful resolution based on what it is, and there's still some grievance to be addressed, it can be referred to the Equal Opportunity Tribunal, which is a superior court of justice, where the matter will be litigated, right?
Yeah. So we have to wrap now, but just for the last, just to close off, what advice would you give persons with disability who want to approach the Equal Opportunity Commission in terms of, because you said the process will take long to shorten the process for the benefit of them?
Yeah. Well, what I would tell persons with disabilities, generally speaking, if you have a disability and you have made an application, or you're interested in getting a job, or you're in a job and you think you are being discriminated for whatever reason and you're unsure, you need to approach the Equal Opportunity Commission. It doesn't engage any cost, right? And you can get an advice as to whether or not the complaint or what you may feel is a grievance against you is one that's legitimate, that is one that's covered by the Act, that we can look into and take it to its logical conclusion.
Awesome.
All right?
Awesome. Mr. Roach, I want to say thank you so much for your after that. I want to say thank you so much for coming, expanding your knowledge. And I know you have a legal background, so you're be knowledgeable on what you do. And I really want to have you back so we could delve further into, probably statistics and things when you actually bring forward the system that actually takes data. Yeah.
On behalf of the EOC and my other commissioners, I would like to thank you for the opportunity. I would like to also congratulate you for the successful program. It's very interesting that you are doing. I think you are a good example that the fact that you may have a disability doesn't mean that you are disabled, and people must be able to see your abilities as opposed to what you may consider to be a disability. So congratulations and thank you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, and I want to thank you to TTT for giving me the platform and the autonomy to do this. And guys, with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to this week's segment of Unique Not Different. Until next week, be good. Be good. Bye, guys. Bye, Mr. Roach.
Bye. Bye.